At my core, I'm a girl from the South Bronx who moved to Toronto, Canada at the age of 10 and grew up in poverty, where I intimately understood struggle and limitations, but couldn't accept the fact that's all life had for me. I was determined to find out what else there was to be experienced, lived, and learned. Today, as a Black, Hispanic entrepreneur, business executive, speaker, mentor, and single mother, I've had many wins and even more losses. And both have taught me life lessons that I am now ready to share with you. These conversations are going to be vulnerable, honest, and power-packed with wisdom that you'll be able to apply in your life, relationships, and business. So join me and my closest friends as we share how to unlearn the habits that keep us from discovering who we are at our core. And let's develop who we are meant to be and live on purpose. This is me, Sherri, Authentically. Hey everyone. Hey. So I am going to just start off by saying thank you for being here once again. Thank you for tuning in to Sherri Authentically. This is going to be a very authentic conversation. I'm just going to keep it, as I always say, I'm going to keep it real, keep it 100 with y'all. I just came back from a funeral where we were celebrating the life of my Uncle Mike, Reverend Dr. Michael Cornelius Reed. Let me take a breath there. There's something very sobering, very surreal about saying see you later or goodbye or laying to rest a loved one who has impacted your life so deeply. And so we're going to just have a real conversation. This is not going to be a long one today. But I did want to come out here and talk to y'all about grief and, the perspective that I've experienced. Everyone's grieving process is different, and it's not to be compared or judged in any way. But I think the more that we can share about what we experience in grief and how we handle it can perhaps help someone else. And so that's what I'm doing here. I don't really feel like doing this. I feel like just curling up in a ball and just crying myself to sleep, to be quite honest. And I might even cry during this podcast. And if I do, that's okay. Because that's part of the process. It's allowing your feelings to have room in your life, not to be suppressed and be pushed to the side or ignored or even dismissed, right? And I think there are times where I know growing up where I've heard it, don't worry, cry now, it'll get better. And it's like, no, I don't think it gets better. I think you learn how to live with it. And you learn how to manage it differently. Whereas right now, if I even see a picture of my Uncle Mike, I will bawl. I will just start to cry. So right now, my emotions are extremely, extremely tender, very sensitive, very raw, very to the touch. The more I allow those feelings, though, to have place in my life, have room in my life, the more I won't necessarily be as sensitive, but I will allow it to still be. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my upbringing and why this person was just so dear to me. Y'all should know, if you don't know already, I mean, we said it in the intro, I'm from the South Bronx, and my mother, God rest her soul. My mother tried her best as well with, raising myself and my two brothers. She struggled though. She had, demons, as I think we all do to a certain degree. Her demons were alcohol. Her real demon, to be honest with you, was depression and insecurities and low self-esteem. And so that really pushed her towards self-medicating or, living a life of escapism. I don't want to deal with this pain, so I'm going to run to something else. And so there was a moment in time where my mother would prostitute her body. And then she was a prostitute and then she was an alcoholic. And then she was like, I don't want to live this life anymore. And so she came to Canada. She took us in the middle of the night. I felt like we were escaping somewhere. What's happening? Is there somebody after us? We left in the middle of the night. I found out later that my mom took our rent money to get us to Canada. That's why that's why we left in the night. And she did the best she could. And I honor my mom and I thank God for my mother. I don't know what our lives would have been like if I stayed in New York City. It would have definitely been different. Um, but we came to Toronto. We grew up here. When we first came here, I was like around 10 or 11. We met a family, the Harris family. They had just come from Jamaica. Um, and the oldest sister invited my mom to, a gathering at her home. And anyway, long story short, we got close to that family. And one of the sisters, Auntie Vet, I call her Auntie Vet, she was someone who I gravitated to. I just understood her. She understood me. She was someone I looked up to. She would take me to the grocery store, teach me how to pick fruit, and we learn how to do things together. And then, we would go home and she'd show me how to cook. She was the one that showed me how to clean out your fridge at the end of the week and don't ever put brand new groceries inside a dirty fridge. And, um, I was there with her. I was one of her bridesmaids in her wedding when she met Uncle Mike. And and so it was honestly an amazing experience to be in the midst of that family. When she married Uncle Mike, it became the Reed family. So they were Aunt Yvette now was not Aunt Yvette Harris, she was Yvette Reed, Uncle Mike. And again, I was still right there. I saw them have all three of their children. I was there to help with the children. I saw them go through highs and lows, sickness, struggle, finances, emotional, personal things. And Uncle Mike continued to strive forward, and he always was constant. He was always consistent, through ups and downs, good and bad. He was always like, no, we're going to work this out together, no matter what. And Auntie Vet was the same way. No matter what, we're going to work this out together. Even when they were like, ah, you drive me crazy. And they would both say that sometimes about each other. But they stuck it out 39 years. Actually, this August would have been 40 years that they would have been married. And three children later and grandchildren. And he began a church when we were young. I was his first youth pastor. It's just a lot of memories. And Uncle Mike never, ever once treated me any different than his children. If they ate, we all ate. If they had new clothes, what are you gonna wear, Sherri? We gotta get you something too. There was a sense of belonging in this family, in this household that I had never experienced, not ever in my own home. Never. And so I learned the meaning of family. I learned what it meant to love unconditionally. I learned what it meant to strive with someone even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't feel like they deserve it, to still strive with them, see what comes out on the other end of their learning, of their growing, of their developing. Uncle Mike was a very patient man, humble man, loving man, very serious though too. Don't cross him. Don't cross him because he will let you know. We were laughing today. And so I want to talk to you about now that's just the background. He was the only father figure that I had in life. And so let's get to how I deal with grief. I can tell you how my family deals with grief. I'll tell you right now. We laugh. We laugh. We tell jokes. We remember stories. We tell stories about each other. We laugh at each other. We laugh with each other. We laugh about each other. Like we allow the joy of living and being with one another because we actually do love one another. So when we're together, even when it's contention, we still love each other and want each other to be good, right? And so once we get past the bad part, we'll come back around and be like, yeah, you were bugging. You were crazy. You were talking all kinds of smack. We'll just do that type of thing. So today was full of a lot of tears, but a lot of stories, a lot of memories about Uncle Mike and about, his strictness. He was very serious, very strict, very serious disciplinarian. And so I remember when his daughter, his only daughter, got nails, like she got nails, and it was this whole thing. And she went to the nail technician, and he was just like, he heard about it, and he was like, Jonah. So we were laughing because his youngest son, David, can imitate him like to the T, like Jordana. And she's running in the church because she knows daddy's gonna come and try to take off these nails. And it was just laughter, you know? And I know for me, there were so many times where I would rather laugh. I would rather smile. I would rather release the endorphins and the serotonin and the oxytocin and dopamine in my body that brings a smile to my face or can allow my heart to feel lifted in the midst of grief. And it doesn't mean that the grief just disappears or dissipates. Oh, no, it's still there. It's still very much there, but it doesn't overwhelm and it doesn't hush the joy. It doesn't silence the joy that comes along with all of the memories. It was amazing to hear everyone come up and say things. Not everyone, a lot of people came up and said things and talked about how they could always belong. That Uncle Mike always, and Auntie Vet, always, they always made a place wherever they were that people could come and just find belonging, could find welcome, could find unconditional love, could find God, could find, oh, did you need prayer? Well, come on in. Come to the right place. Could find, did you need some food? Come. We're just about to eat. Come get some food. Make a plate for so and so, you know? I have a heavy heart today, and I probably will for a while. And that's okay. That's okay. That's how grief feels for me. It feels heavy. It has my heart feel heavy. But I know that in time and during those times as well, I'm going to remember something and it's going to make me laugh. It's going to give me joy. And so, if there's anything I could leave with you today, I would say that in dealing with grief, allow joy to be a part of the process. Allow laughter, allow happiness, allow good times to be a part of it. I know for me, my family, we get together. Music is a big part. I led worship today at the funeral, and we're we're Jamaican. Well, they are Jamaican. I'm from New York City and Puerto Rican, so they adopted me. So now that it's rubbed off on me a bit. So I've grown up with the Jamaican culture as part of my culture, and so singing songs and upbeat songs that remind us that God's still with us, even when this person's not, but that God blessed us with the time that we had with this person. Such a blessing. I know we want them to be here forever. I wish. I wish. Oh, if I could give my Auntie Vet another 39 years with him, I would do that in a heartbeat. To see her miss him so dearly hurts for, for me to miss him so dearly. Hurts. But I'm so grateful to have known him, so grateful to have the memories that I have. So grateful to be able to say, I had a father figure and this is what he taught me. That's how I choose to meet grief when grief comes, to show its face, to have its place in my life. I meet grief with some of the wonderful memories, and they meet together and they coexist together and they get acquainted. And so I'll cry and then wipe my tears and then call a family member, be like, "You remember when so and so and so? Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. We should do that again." Or I'll turn on some music and start to dance. you know, or I'll pray and just tell God how grateful I am to have been blessed with this opportunity to be around this person and this family. So blessed by that. Yeah, that's what I wanted to leave with you guys today. Letting go of someone doesn't mean you forget them. Learning how to let go doesn't mean that they become a distant memory. Oh no, quite the contrary. They stay with you. They're in your mannerisms. They're in your statements. They're in your little colloquialisms that you say, the little idiosyncrasies that make you you. Yeah, for me, they're in the way I cook. They were with me when I raised my children. There's so many ways that people stay with you. So letting go of them physically, yeah, that's hard. It was hard today. It was hard to see them lower the casket into the ground. It was hard, you know? It was hard just to see the shell of him, knowing that he's not actually there. The physical part of it, man, that's hard. There's just no way else of saying it. It's just hard. Just hard. Because you want to be able to have them respond to you the way they did before. I want to see his smile. His smile would light up the whole room. When he smiled, you have to smile back. You had no choice. His smile was so bright and so genuine, and his eyes would light up. So the letting go of the physical is difficult, but you don't have to let go of the essence of who they are. The essence of who they are stays with you forever. That's a forever thing. And their life gets passed on to generations. Their life and what they lived within this time and space with you, what they left with you, that stuff gets regurgitated, spoken about, laughed about, like I said, we did today. You know, it gets shared. I remember one time, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to let y'all go. Okay. I remember one time I was reading the Bible and God was saying to the Israelites, he just got them out of Egypt and he brought them through the Red Sea and he said, make sure that you tell your children about what I did. And I thought to myself, that's so strange. Why would he say that? And then I thought to myself of things that have happened in my life and how I strategically told my children certain things. This God bless us with this. God helped us with this. And I would say certain things, and I could see how and why. It's the same thing when someone's gone, they're not physically here anymore. You got to testify about them. You got to testify about them. You got to tell somebody about them. You've got to share their story and how they impacted, how they affected, and how they left their imprint on you. You got to testify about them. That's another way you allow grief and joy, grief and laughter, grief and memories that make you feel warm and loved and that sense of belonging you get. That's how you allow them to succinctly work together. So letting go is less about letting that person and who they were to you go, and it's more about adjusting to the fact that physically they're not here to respond to you anymore. But I could tell you right now, if I was thinking about something, doing something, and I would say, I wonder what Uncle Mike would say, I know exactly what he'd say. So even though he's not here to say it, I got his response. I know he taught me enough. I know what his answers would be. I pray that if you have experienced in any way, shape, or form loss, whether it be a physical loss, that person is gone, whether it be, like passed on, gone, or whether it be just a loss in the sense of just a breakup or whatever it is, I want to encourage you never to ever think that that wasn't to be. Instead, be grateful. Choose gratitude and think of all the wonderful things that you experienced with them while they were here, while they were in your life, and how much better you are as a person because of it. I would encourage you to take them with you wherever you go. I always say this, and I'm sure you guys have probably heard me say this: eat the meat and spit out the bones. And I'll say that even if that person wasn't necessarily always good to you, because I could already hear somebody saying, "Oh, that's great for you, Sherri. He is great for you, but this person was not great for me." Well, what did they teach you? What did you learn? Look further than just an experience. Look deeper than just a situation, and think about what you have learned, even if it was indirectly. There's a lesson there to be grateful for because you can grow and develop and heal. I honor you, Uncle Mike. Such a beautiful man. I'm going to miss him dearly, physically, but I'll always have him with me. And so my task is to take him with me and share him. I'm going to ask you if this has helped you in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to ask you to share this with someone. We always ask, it's a podcast, so we always want you to say, we want you to say like, and we want you to comment, but I want you to pass this on to someone if it's blessed you, wonderful, you can like it. But if it's something that you feel can help someone else who may be going through something, I would encourage you, pass it on. Pass it on to them. Be a light to someone else. Be a help. Be an encouragement. Show someone else that you care about their circumstance. I promise it'll go such a long way. Until next time, love ya.